This is the most versatile build I've ever done. It excels at close combat, ranged combat, and even area of effect. I mean, it's so good that it completely erases all enemies in Crucible chambers. And it's also a tank build with a huge amount of armor, allowing you to just shut your brain off and let enemies hit you without worrying that you might die too fast. Even more, on top of all this, it also lifesteals like crazy. And you'd think that since it does so much, it would lack in damage, but you're wrong. Its damage is also insane. So, if you want an unstoppable tank with lifesteal, casting spells and rampaging around, this is the build to go for. The only downside is that it's a bit slow on movement and dodge rolls. But with this build, you don't need to dodge. You can just tank the hits with no worries. And you also have the option to just block and generate focus. This is the ultimate Magic Plague Knight build. Now, you can go with any element, but I went with Plague, as it matches this awesome armor. And Plague works well with tank builds because it reduces the stagger resistance of enemies, making them easier to interrupt. The Plague element also reduces healing and defense, so while you get a huge amount of defense, your enemies will not. First, I want to show you this awesome wand. It looks like a club, but it's actually a wand. This wand has some of the most unique attack patterns. It starts with a few swings, and the animation of these swings is incredibly fast. The final combo launches you into the air, and when you land, you create a plague bubble that explodes, infecting all the enemies around it. Pretty cool! Let's just get right into the build. The main weapon we're using is the one-handed rune-stricken wand. It comes with the Plague Barrage and Plague Explosion runes. The Plague Barrage in particular is an incredibly high damage spell that also closes the gap between you and your target. The Plague Splatter and Plague Throw. I added them separately, and I'll show you at the end where you can get them from. The Splatter is incredibly good at clearing multiple enemies, as it literally makes a massive plague crater across the entire screen. The Plague Throw is a very solid ranged option if you want to go full range. Now, for the gem, I went with lifesteal for even more survivability. All attacks and runes will lifesteal, with the exception of the Plague Splatter. For the weapon effects, we have increased damage against large enemies, stamina recovery, item weight decreased, and finally, we have Indestructible, which maximizes the effects based on durability and also nullifies the unrepairable downside. Now for the shield, we're going with the Battered Buckler. Originally, I was using the kite shield that you can buy from the blacksmith, but I noticed that the effects I wanted for this build can only be obtained through blue enchantments, not the plague ones. I do recommend the kite shield, as it's better than the one I currently have, but try to get blue enchantments on it. The effects you should aim for are gain focus on block, gain stamina on block, and damage increased after block. For the gem, I went with plague damage on block. This adds a bit more damage and increases plague buildup. You can also go with lifesteal on the gem for even more survivability. It's up to you. Now for the armor, we're going with the Bolein Knight armor set. I personally found the recipe at Greenwich's shop. This choice is mainly for fashion, since any plate armor will give you the same effects. Let's start with the helmet. For the gem, I went with infection buildup to maximize the plague effect. The other effects I have are focus on any buildup, health on rune attack, weight decreased, and plague damage increased. As for the downside, it's drain health in combat, which is barely even noticeable. For the body armor, I went with a health increased gem. The effects I have are focus gain increased, stagger resistance decreased for infected enemies, and weight decreased. On the gloves, I used a gem that increases infection buildup. The other effects are more focus gain, additional infection buildup, and weight decreased. For the pants, I chose a stamina increased gem. The effects include damage taken decreased, focus gain, healing increased, and weight decreased. For the rings, we have the rune ring, which increases rune damage but lowers the damage of normal attacks. Then there's the plague ring, which gives more lifesteal. And finally, we have the stone tusk ring, which drastically increases my armor. Just look at how much armor I get when I remove and re-equip it. A few more things that can help with this build are the food consumables. The sirloin platter not only heals but also gives plus 45 health for 3 minutes. This was originally 10 minutes, but they nerfed it. Then we have the shepherd's pie, which gives 10% more damage. You can combine this with the damage surge rune. And finally, the fish skewer, which heals and gives 50 focus instantly. Potions don't give focus anymore. They give focus gain. This fish food is the best way to get some instant focus without having to go in and deal melee damage. For the stats, we have 40 in health for more survivability. I put 46 in faith to use the weapon and increase overall damage. Then there's 25 in focus, so you can cast multiple spells before running out. And finally, 16 in equip load to put me into the heavy category. To get the Plague Splatter rune, you can buy the Knitgate wand from Eleanor and extract the rune from it. You can use the Knitgate wand for this build as well, but I find its attack animations a bit slow in comparison. The Plague Throw rune can be found from the Siren Queen's horn, but unfortunately, that's a random drop. And that's it, the Plague Nightcaster build. To sum it up, this build isn't the absolute min-maxed version, but it can do pretty much everything. It's a jack of all trades, and it's actually good at what it does. Honestly, this has been the most fun build I've done playing No Rest for the Wicked. It looks cool, plays smooth, and makes it easy to push through anything the game throws at you. If you liked this video, consider subscribing, and if you have any other questions, leave them in the comments. And don't forget to get some sleep before a boss fight, as this will give you a health boost.